Alright, welcome back to yet another video of the Unreal 5 third-person shooter zombie Resident Evil thingy gaming tutorial. So this video will mostly be cosmetic stuff. We set up, we're getting somewhere with our inventory, most functionalities here. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit so it looks a little bit nicer, more gamey, like an inventory. And we'll see where we end up after that. One more thing I also want to do is actually some kind of like, because we can't see really what this is, and also maybe clean up the interaction indicator a little bit maybe. So yeah, just like the font makes me vomit. So yeah, let's get into it. The first thing we should do is, do we have a HUD? We have a HUD, right? In the HUD we have these interaction. So we have this interaction. Yep, goody goody. Do we have any update functions here? Oh. Now the only thing we do is we show this or not. Okay, so I'm just gonna close down some stuff, because we would like to know like what kind of item we're picking up maybe, and stuff like that, because we can't really separate all of them. Like here for instance, these are two chests, but we don't know which one is which, so that would be nice to actually have. So so yeah, let's do that. Give me 1 second and I'll just look at some references here. Yeah, I didn't find anything good. I'm just gonna wing it, and I'll just make it look a bit nicer. I'm not really an artist, so you probably shouldn't go to me for this kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna clean it up, make it look a little bit more nice. You do you. I might clean it up a little bit between videos and spend some time just making it look nice. We'll see. But I'm gonna clean it up a little bit nice. The only thing I did here is I set it to light, Roboto. You should probably get a nicer font because this is ugly. But I just changed it to light, reduced the size a little bit, and then also the color to grayish. One thing I know is you should never use clean whites, because it hurts the eyes and it annoys people. So you should never use clean whites. You should always make it a little bit gray. Because it's makes it a lot more pleasant to look at, and I wanna have mine a bit darker. Actually, I want it quite gray, and I also added a black outline, size of 1, outline size. So there we go. So there, E to pick up. What I also want to do here is I want to add an item slot. Something like that, and yeah, wrap with horizontal box, and we're gonna drag the item slot into the horizontal box as well. We are gonna wrap with size box. No? How big is it? Is it too big? It's good. We are gonna set this to no. There we go. Padding let me just figure out settings here. Alright, so I just want to do something like this. So I just added an item slot, wrapped it in a scale box, and then changed the scale a little bit because the original ones are a little bit too big. I didn't want to go that big. Maybe something like that so we can still see the image. There we go. And in our player character, get HUD. So we should let's rename it item slot pickup, and just from this, in our character we have this function that's f pickup notifier visibility. This sets the visibility of the interaction widget. So in it we have a reference to our HUD. We're just gonna grab the interaction, get the slot, item slot pickup that we just picked up, set image, set icon image before we set the visibility, and we can get item to pick up, which is the current overlapping item. We're gonna get the details, break the details, and we are gonna get the equipment details, and we are gonna get the item image. And that did not work. Let's do like this instead. Set details. So let's set the details of that slot and let up and update the slot. That should work. And we can just get the details like this instead. Let's see if that works. Yeah, so there we can actually see an image now of what we're going to pick up. So that makes it a little bit easier to know what we are picking up. So we got some errors, and this is probably the most common error that you will encounter. Runtime error access none, which means we are trying to access a variable that doesn't exist. Item to pick up, this doesn't exist yet, so we are just gonna do is valid, and we are only gonna do this if the item to pick up is actually valid, and that should stop the errors from happening. No, not save as, file, save all. I am also gonna move it a little bit more to the right because it was a little bit tight. There we go, looks good. Maybe move it up a little bit, slightly. Something like that. That looks good. Yeah, perfect. 9 minutes. Okay. If it's not valid, because it's not disappearing. So if it's not valid, we should still set the visibility. Maybe? Yeah. So that it disappears. Do we get errors now? No. Okay. So this was the part that caused errors. So if it's not valid, we're just gonna bypass that and go to set visibility. Perfect. There we go. Then let's go into the inventory. And yeah, you're obviously gonna have to do this the way you want to. I am going to, let's start by the slots, because they aren't looking very nice. The first thing we need to do is, when we update item slot, event graph. So on this item slot, if before we do this, we're gonna add a branch. So, and from the false, we're gonna continue what we did before. But if the name is equal to make literal text. If the name is equal to, I guess none is the default. That means there's nothing in the item. We're not gonna set any brush from text because, oh, okay. Because let's print. Just want to see what this. Wait, I can check here. Name is completely empty. So yeah, there we go. So if the name is completely empty, we are just gonna set this icon image to didn't I have, no, I don't have a transparent. We are just gonna set it to go into, I'm just gonna go to I'm just gonna go to Paint 3D, make a completely transparent image. Save as image. Texture underscore transparent image. And I'm gonna drag it into wherever. Just gonna keep it there. The underscore transparent image. So target must have a connection. The target is this one. So as you can see, and we are also gonna make this text. Set visibility to hidden, and we need to set it to visible in that case here on the normal one. So when we set the details, we set the text to visible, and when we don't set the details, we set the text to hidden. So there we go. Now we got clean slots. Looks a lot better because we had these white stuff before. So that matches. Good. Let's make the slots look a little bit nicer also. So I'm just gonna hide this icon image for now, and we are gonna do another background image, and we are gonna make this one maybe a teeny bit larger, or actually we're gonna keep this one and make just like this. There we go. And we're gonna call this frame image. We're gonna call this one background image. So the one behind is gonna be darker. There we go. And that should create some kind of slot effects, but it's not, yeah. Since it's towards this background, it's not really what is happening here? Okay, since it's towards this background, it's not really showing, so we need to make it, actually we could also make this a little bit lighter. Looks easier now at least, but I want it fairly dark. It looks better. Am I recording still? Yes, I am. Good. Okay, it looks a little bit nicer. I'm just gonna, in the slot, actually make it even thicker. Yeah, and obviously you should do like correct values if you want to make this look really nice. That's looking all right to me. That's looking better at least. Let's go into the inventory. We have this image, which is going to be background image. I'm going to copy this one, drag it behind, and call it frame image. And obviously I think like what you should do is to make this in like Photoshop or something. There we go, we got a little bit of a frame. That means we can make this a little bit brighter, right? No, didn't like that. Background, we will do how does that look? It's barely noticeable, but it is there. It is looking a little bit nicer, at least, and these bloody freaking fonts are killing me because they're looking so ugly. So let's fix that. Let's start by dragging this one more into the center. So I'm gonna do an outline of 1 and no, not spacing, sorry. Outline of 1 won't really show because it's on a black background. I'm gonna do these in big letters, and I'm gonna do the head in light regular. Okay, regular seems good. And we should align them. The correct way to do this is to use horizontal and vertical boxes to align everything, but I'm not gonna do that because I don't have the energy right now and I want to get to the next video, so we'll do that soon. Light, just select all of them, not light, regular, and I will do an outline size of 1, and we'll do outline color. Can we do no, we're just gonna do black. How does that look? And we are gonna do smaller, I guess, 18, and we are gonna do color more grayish. There we go. All right, looks a little bit more like an inventory now. Yeah, it's looking all right. One more thing I want to do is in this interaction, we're gonna do a animation called fade in. So basically you just go to animation, click plus, and we are gonna go to the timeline here and we can animate this widget. So we are gonna do a track, and we're gonna select the canvas panel, which is this one here. So that makes the animation that we're doing now is gonna go on everything because it's on the canvas panel. You could do only the text and only the other stuff if you want to, but I'm gonna do the entire canvas panel. So what we are gonna do here is we're gonna click on plus and render opacity. I'm gonna set it to 0 so it disappears, but at 0.25 seconds we're gonna set it to 1. So that means it blinks in, right? Maybe it's a little bit slow. I think it's fine. Or let's do it like this. Oh, actually we can just do the play rate later, so let's just delete it. Let's do 0.25. Perfect. And in the graph we're gonna do a custom event. I'm gonna call it event fade in, and custom event and event fade in and event fade out. Then we have up to the left, you can see the animation that we just made, fade in. We're gonna grab it, we're gonna play animation. And we are gonna play animation on fade out as well. For forward, and on the fade out it's gonna be reverse. And I think we are gonna do faster, 1.25, 1.25. So This is barely gonna be noticeable, and this is the thing, but this is what most games do, and it's nice to do it. It's barely gonna be visible, but when stuff just snaps and blinks in, it can create some annoying like feelings. You can't really put your finger on it when you play a game, but it's like sometimes you can just feel that it's not nice. And it's small stuff like that that is like barely noticeable at all, unless you really think about them, but they just make the general feeling of the game feel a little bit more nice. So we have this get HUD reference, we have this set visibility. We're just gonna switch on whatever we set it to instead of setting visibility, and there we go. And if visible, we're gonna fade from this one, fade in, and hidden, we're gonna fade out. So instead of actually setting the visibility, we just play this animation. And actually on the interaction, we should on begin play, because, or actually is it, yeah, so we need to on begin play, we need to do like this. On fade in, set visibility to visible. There we go. Can you see? It looks a lot nicer now, right? It's just very subtle. And like you can see for the inventory, you should do that for the inventory as well. For the inventory, we can do something different just to make it fun. So for the inventory, we are gonna play an animation. It's gonna called, let's also call it fade in, but we're not gonna fade it. We are gonna fade it as well, but we have our canvas panel. So for the animation, we're gonna go to the timeline, gonna get the canvas panel as well, but for this one, we will render the transform. And the translation, and not the Y, sorry, the X. Yeah, let's just do it. The X, something like this. There we go. And on 0.25, it's gonna be 0 again. So, an event graph, let's do the same here, custom event. Actually, can we just, not sure if we can do this, but let's do like this. Since it's called everything the same, it should work. Yeah, it should work actually. And then in our player character, we are, whenever we have open inventory. Okay, so this is a thing. Since we are actually, the inventory isn't constant, we are collapsing it and actually removing it from the parent. So, so on begin play, It's a little bit harder because we're refreshing the inventory. So on construct we're gonna do fade in right. So that looks alright, but what's gonna happen now is whenever we pick up an item, it's gonna update like that, and we don't want that. So we need to create a variable, call it refresh only, and we're gonna create a branch. And if refresh only is false, we're gonna continue as usual. But if we only refresh, we're gonna skip fading in. But that's gonna, then we won't see it. So in that case, we are gonna get the, can we get the canvas? Make the canvas panel a variable. We're gonna get the canvas panel and we're gonna set translation set the translation to 0. So the translation is what we're changing with the animation, right? So when it starts, it's out of bounds, but we are setting the translation to 0, 0, then it's in the right place. So that means if we are refreshing only, then the render translation is going to be 0, 0. This variable is going to be instance is editable, and exposed on spawn. So we can set this variable when creating the widget. So on the refresh inventory, open inventory, there we go. If you refresh this one, you get this refresh only. So we are gonna drag this one out there as well. And in the refresh, we are gonna do refresh only. But on the other ones, it's gonna be false. There we go. And we also need to fade it out. So on close inventory, we are gonna do, instead of set, we are gonna remove from parent and everything, but we are gonna do, we're gonna do this latest. So move this from here to here, and we're gonna do delay of 0.15. Just a little bit, the delay is a little bit shorter than the actual animation, it's gonna be fine. And we are gonna do fade out here instead. We can't use a delay because it's a function. Let's copy this one, delete it, and just This is a little bit annoying. Okay, in the inventory. This is getting to be a long video anyway. In the inventory, on the fade out, we are gonna do a delay of 0.15, and we're gonna do remove from parent, and we're gonna remove self from parent. So we do this in the inventory instead. Whenever we fade out, yeah. So here we don't actually need to remove it from parents. And the only thing we do get the inventory again. So we call fade out. Okay, that should work. So we fade out in the player, and that's gonna create a delay on which it removes itself from the parent. Let's see if that works. That works, right? So there we go. There you have two techniques to make stuff a little bit smoother. You could actually, what would be even nicer if you want to add some opacity to this one as well, so it starts fading in opaque and then is full visible when it's out. That's gonna look even nicer. But that's like two ways to just animate and make stuff a little bit nicer in the inventory. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it actually for the inventory stuff. Maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll do like a details. We can do that later as well. I kind of want to get into the shooting. But yeah, it looks a little bit nicer. I just want it to look fairly nice. Still a tutorial, so it doesn't have to be like the nicest ever, but I might clean it up a bit between videos. I'm back at the long videos as well, apparently. But anyway, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe as always. Yeah, let's keep going in the next one. Why is this empty though? What did I pick up? Not sure. Anyway, see you in the next one. Bye.